Welcome, everybody, to Successful Iranians podcast, the podcast that's breaking down negative barriers for the Iranian community and highlighting the great and the good that there is all around the world. So we're today joined by the inspirational and wonderful lady called Katy Amiri Younesi. Have I got the pronunciation right, first and foremost?
Beautiful, you're a champion now.
Exactly. Well, that's the start. So I'm breathing a sigh of relief. And Katy was instrumental in bringing the iconic song of the Iranian Revolution that's been happening the last 6 months, and that is the song Baraye by Shervin Hajipour. Is that correct as well, the pronunciation, Katy?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So first and foremost, a little bit about you. From my research, you left Iran at the age of 13 to come to the United States. You entered into the world of law. I studied law too, but much to my dad's disappointment, I fell into recruitment. He's still
smart.
I tell him I do recruitment and careers and stuff, and he's still trying to get his head around it. He hasn't forgiven me. You know what Iranian parents are like. If you're not a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer, then you haven't made it in life. So your firm is based around in California, and you specialize in entertainment law and civil litigation. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Right. So a lot of the audience here that listens to this podcast are people all over the world, the Iranian community, and they're going to be fascinated by the whole process of what happened in getting that iconic song of Shervin's that everybody plays throughout the revolution that's been going on, that's resulted in over 20,000 arrests, over 500 people being killed. We've all seen the images, even in resulting in Shervin being arrested and actually having that song taken off his Instagram and been foregoing all his copyright kind of rights to that song. So can you just talk through the process, how you manage to get that song and Shervin on the Grammys?
Well, Johnny, this year, the Academy started a new award called Special Merit Award for the social effect. So this song for the best song for the social effect. So this was a brand new award that the Academy had offered to artists other than American artists in America, for around the world artists to join if they had a song that socially affected society. So as soon as Shervin's song came out and it became the anthem of this revolution, people started submitting his song for this Special Merit Award. But like everything else, there are criteria that had to be followed within that submission, and people just wanted to have his name at the Academy as soon as possible before the deadline. So I looked into it and I saw that because this is part of my specialty, this is something that I am very familiar with, but yet because this was a brand new award, the criterias were, some of them were not so clear for our purposes, because Shervin's song was only published by him at that time before the deadline by SoundCloud. And SoundCloud is not an acceptable commercial platform for the Grammy. People who want to enter the Grammy, SoundCloud is not, it's not commercially platform acceptable place to be released for their song. So commercial means like iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, and unfortunately Shervin's song was released within that time limit of the deadline that the Academy wanted, only on SoundCloud. So because we are a member of the Academy, through Mr. Hamid Saidi, the first Persian Iranian musician that had won the Grammy. I had access. I emailed and I had an appointment, and I went to the Academy, and I sat there and I went through each and every criteria that was on that submission form, and finally figured out what we needed to do, and submitted the song once and for all the correct way that the Academy had actually accepted it. So there were over 90,000 submissions. The people were more than
Wow. 90,000.
Over 90,000. And when I went there, the guy that I was talking to, he was like, our staff are going through every submission to find one correct submission to actually submit this. We want this song to be submitted, but we cannot find a correct submission form that had actually entered our database. So we say, we have a submission now. So, but it made the news. So people were beyond supportive because of the noise that it made. So everybody knew about this song now. They were just waiting for the correct submission to enter the Academy. And submissions are different than votings. People made a lot of mistakes on the medias, and they even now, after Shervin had won, there are still people talking about 90,000 votes, 130,000 votes. No, the Blue Ribbon Committee was the committee that had the authority to vote on the social effect of this song. So we had to submit, and we had to do our part. We had to hashtag the song. We had to play the song in our protests. So we had to show that this song had socially affected us as a community. And we showed it really well. So it was up to the Blue Ribbon Committee, which is a committee within the Academy. There are people that are chosen by the Academy, and they had to go and basically research and see if this song, among 20,000 other songs that had been submitted. People don't know that. There were over 20,000 other songs by other artists around the world that had been submitted for this special genre. It was not only Shervin's song against himself, and the Blue Ribbon Committee chose that song. No, Shervin's song was in a competition with over 20,000 other songs. And the Blue Ribbon Committee just noticed the effect of this song on this a social platform that they were searching and looking at. And they decided that Shervin's song should be the award winner. And the First Lady Jill Biden even talked about it on that day. She very clearly said that the Blue Ribbon Committee voted on this. And then it came back to the Academy for reconsideration to see if that voting was in fact within their criteria. And then it went to the award ceremony. And the award ceremony was supposed to be not on Sunday during the Grammy primetime TV broadcasting. The award ceremonies are usually done a day prior on Saturday. February 4th this year was supposed to be the award ceremonies. And through many emails and requests, and basically the Academy saw how important this song right now is to be broadcasted on the day of the actual Grammy, the ceremony, and who better than the First Lady to award this very emotional, political, heartwarming song during this revolution time to be awarded by the Blue Ribbon Committee and announced by Jill Biden. So it was one of those moments that I think 80 million Iranians were so proud and happy. And I was actually at the Grammy arena itself. I was at the Staples Center, or Crypto Center as they call it now. And I witnessed it firsthand. And I can tell you, I was crying and I was just screaming my lungs out that this is it. This is the moment that we have all been waiting for. Earlier that day, around 1:30, 2 o'clock, Mr. Hamid Saidi, through collaboration with White Sun, another team, he too and the group won the Grammy. And I was like, yay, we won the Grammy. And I walked on the red carpet. But at that night, at 8 p.m., when Shervin's song got that award, I cannot tell you, Johnny, that I can't describe the feeling. It was, I think it's going to go down in the history that this song made such an effect on 80 million people. It's our anthem now.
It really is. Aferin. In my little...
See? Your father would be happy for that word now. Your Kurd father. I'm Kurd as well. My father is from Kermanshah. My mother is from Kurdistan, Sanandaj. So I am 100% Kurd, and I'm proud, especially this Gina Mahsa Amiri was a Kurdish girl as well. So I hold a little bit more pride in this time of the revolution to be Kurd, Iranian Kurd.
So you should be. Mahsa came from what, Sakes, is it? In Iran, and it started this revolution in the Kurdistan area of Iran. I lived during the Iran-Iraq War in Kermanshah during the first revolution that brought that death cult into the country. And it doesn't surprise me, you being a Kurd, you being a lioness, and you bringing the Grammy to Iran via Shervin. Incredible. It's such a beautiful song. I mean, I think it amassed what, Katy, 40 million views in 48 hours on Instagram, something like that. Yeah. It was incredible.
Yes, it was blown away. So that song, because every sentence, now that I'm talking, I have goosebumps. Every sentence talks about a generation of pain. Like every sentence has a meaning. Like you cannot listen to a word and just pass it by. No, you listen to every word and it sits and sinks in. You feel it. You have no other choice but to basically cry with every word that you hear, because that is our Iran now. So he described Iran in one song, about 28 sentences. We just did a program by Taylor Hanson. We called it the Voices Project. So inspired by this song, which Taylor Hanson is the president of the 12th chapter of the Academy, after he heard about the proper submission that he was waiting for, he got in touch with me and he said, oh, finally, somebody submitted it correctly. I was dying. I was waiting for this song to be submitted correctly. And I was nervous that maybe the deadline passes and nobody does it correctly. So he got in touch with me, and through collaboration, we decided to have a program called the Voices Project. And the Voices Project we called in 16,000 people to be the voice of 16,000 political prisoners in Iran right now. And right now, I think it's about 20,000. So we got the Henson studio, where We Are the World, We Are the Children was actually recorded by Michael Jackson. And it fits 280 people at a time. It's a big studio. And we said 16,000 people, come register and come in 280 basically team at a time. So it was a full-on recording. Johnny, you had to be there. I cried every time 280 people came in, and they sang For Women, For Life, We Sing Freedom, and they sang Baraye Azadi, and they would go out and 280 people would come in. Thousands and thousands of people came in. We had like 4 people, 5 people scanning, people registering their names and all. It was overwhelming. And in the other studio, there are 2 studios, 2 recording studios. One was recording people and the other one was recording artists. 6 of the Academy presidents came and sang that day in the other recording studio. Many American A-list artists came and sang. Many Persian artists came and sang in the other studio. Leila Frouhar, Hamid Talebzadeh, Erfan, Shahbal, Hajar, Sepide, many that if I'm missing anybody's name, I'm so sorry, but like those are the few that I just remember. But it was an historic, it was a historic day. And it's in the process. It's going to come out. And I believe this song, like We Are the World, We Are the Children, that became so popular and still is so popular and everybody knows about it. I think this song too, because it's for the revolution of Iran. Many American artists, along with Persian artists, and most of all, 16,000 people representing 16,000 political prisoners in Iran. That if that's not history, I don't know what is. So we are in the production right now, post-production. When it comes out, I will definitely notify you. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be involved with. And Taylor Hansen and Hamid Saidi are co-producing it. I'm the executive director of that. And it is just a beautiful ride.
You made so many people so happy in the 6 months where people have witnessed some of the most horrific, some of the most brutal, some of the most despairing, and some of the most inspirational and courageous things that we've all seen. And you'd have to be made out of stone not to feel it. And that moment when he got the Grammy was like that chunk of light out of a very dark tunnel. So I think on behalf of the community, and I'm sure a lot of people will tell me this, thank you, Khayli Mamoon.
I had a village behind me. There were a lot of people who reached out and said, how can we help? And we all did it together. I think the whole 90,000 people who had submitted it, even though it was wrong, but the intention was right. And so those 90,000 people were involved in that. So the submissions and the noise and, Harvey Mason Jr., the CEO of the Academy, had to write an email and say, I'm just overwhelmed with all these submissions. It's amazing that all these people have been socially affected by this song that they wanted to submit. So I spoke with Harvey Mason Jr. on that red carpet that day, and I thanked him for everything that he had done. And I saw Panos, the president of Academy, and I had been in touch with him via email, and I called him on his cell phone many times. And I had to apologize. I said, well, I called you on your cell phone, and usually it's not professional to call people on the cell phone. But this song was just the only light of happiness in that dark tunnel that we were all holding hands and going through it all at the same time. And I cried on his shoulder, Johnny, and it is recorded. It's on my Instagram. We hugged and we were both crying, actually. So my makeup, I'm on that red carpet, my makeup went on his shoulder, on his jacket. And I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And it's recorded. I said, I'm so sorry. Later on, the next day, I texted him and I said, I'm so sorry that I soiled your jacket. He texts back and he said, I said, I'm willing to buy you a brand new suit. I'm so sorry. And then he said, no, I keep this jacket. This stain is stain of pride. So I died. It was just like, oh my God. So I cried all over again, but this time nobody was there to get their jacket wet and stain. But the stain of pride, that's what he called it. So it was a full teamwork. They listened to us. They heard us. They heard Shervin's song, and most of us that sent submitted those songs and emailed and called, they heard all of us. I was just a tool. I just had more access to the academy because of my expertise, because of the relation that I have with the academy, because of the people who I knew there. I just had more tools in my hands, and I was just able to take this further. But it was a teamwork, and congratulations to all of us as a community, and congratulations to Shervin for making 80 million people happy and proud.
Absolutely. And you've dealt with celebrities, composers, singers, worked on behalf of Persian radio stations, etc. How did you come across in taking this case up with Shervin and the Grammy? Did someone come to you? What was the process behind that?
Well, most people in the community knew that I was involved at the Grammy. They knew that Opium Moon and Hamid Saidi that had won the Grammy 4 years ago, 2019, when they won the Grammy, I was there, and I went to the Grammy. I went to the actual red carpet, and afterwards when they get the Grammy, where do they go, who they talk to. So I had been involved, and this was the third nomination for Mr. Hamid Saidi. The first two was with his own group, Opium Moon. The third one was with a collaboration with White Sun, but yet they as a group won the Grammy, and Mr. Saidi was part of that group. So we were nominated again, and we were on that red carpet again. So most people knew that I know the process. This is my specialty, this is my expertise. Entertainment law is what I practice. And on top of that, I had been on that red carpet. I had worked with Academy. I knew the ins and outs, and I know and understand the procedure that goes with the submission and how to get things submitted and what to do afterwards when you get submitted. So when this happened, I tell you, I more than 400, 500 messages on my Instagram only that, oh, Katy, we heard that there is this new genre for Special Merit Award. How can we vote? And everybody was under this impression that submission is the same as voting. And I'm like, we can vote on this. The Blue Ribbon Committee has to vote on this. What are you guys talking about? So I started educating people, responding, no, we are not voting. This is not Grammy. This is an award. This is a different genre. Special Merit Award is a different category under the Recording Academy, and the process is completely different. So people were asking, so many people were getting guidance, what should we do? And at that moment, I didn't know what to do, because it was a brand new award that was offered to us. So by reading it, I was like, okay, so we have an issue on the commercially released part, because the only thing that I find out through my research is that no commercially released thing is actually happening here. We don't have anything. We don't have anything to submit with our application, which is acceptable by the Academy. So let me make an appointment. Let me go to the Academy. Let me talk to them. Let me see what is this new genre all about. And, a lot of people don't have that opportunity. In fact, I saw people coming to the Academy. I saw them behind the doors, and I said, what's going on? And they said, well, we were told to email the Academy, and that is open to public. Anybody can email the Academy. But actually going in, sitting with an Academy member that knows about this and talking to them needed somebody with more link to the Academy, which I was blessed to be able to do that. So I had a little bit of specialty in that, and people were asking and requesting, what is it that you can do for this song? So I had to take a step and actually go there, making sure the clock was ticking. I think we had 10 or 14 days, I don't remember, to the deadline. So it was very, very crucial for us to submitted correctly, and that the releasing part was already done. The deadline was September 30th. So that the releasing of that song should have been prior to September 30th. And now we were in October. We still had time to submit, but the commercial releasing part deadline was already gone. So it was a little bit tough to go around it and making sure that it is properly submitted in this year. And we got lucky.
Well, you make your own luck, and I think you created that opportunity with a team behind you to get that luck, and well deserved. And I think the community of all communities right now deserves a lot more luck. But this is the start. In terms of this award, this was a new category that they had created. Am I right in thinking that?
Correct. Correct. It was the first year.
Got you. And for those who may be not familiar with the Grammys, what is this award for exactly, in terms of the Grammy that Shervin got?
Okay, so this award is for under Special Merit Award. Recording Academy has Grammy, which is that statue with a head like a gramophone, like a statue. And they have awards, which is completely different than that statue for the music that we see on TV. So under Special Merit Award, this year there was a new category called the Best Song for Social Change Award. Again, award, not the Grammy Award. And this year, they had opened a door for people that had released songs within the past 5 years of the Academy year. 5 years of, I think it started from, or it ended September 30th of 2022, going back 5 years. And remember, in that 5 years, we had the Ukraine war. We had the BLM movement. We had the Korean catastrophe over there. So there were a lot of things that had happened in that 5 years that the Academy allowed us to enter for the social change category. And we just had the Iran's revolution 4 weeks prior. So it was brand new for us, but yet it was 5 years of competition. So those 20,000 submissions that other songs had submitted was very well for many stuff that was happening around the world. And we were nervous because we were competing against many other revolutions and wars that was and still is happening in the world. So when this came out and people were like, okay, there was a revolution started 4 weeks ago, and we have this fantastic song that had been our anthem. And back then, we didn't know that this is an ongoing thing for us. And this song will stay in the core of every Iranian, in every protest all around the world. And now the effect is even 100 million times more than when it was submitted back then. So back then, people were like, okay, we have this song. It affected us socially. We need to have this entered in this brand new opportunity that we have for the artists around the world. And we got lucky that we didn't pass the deadline. We got lucky that Shervin had entered this song into SoundCloud, at least. And with that niche, we got this beautiful award for all the Iranians. This song, this award, 80 million people are included in the winning list for this song, I think.
Yeah. And it is about timing, and you do need certain things to go for you. Of course, you've got to be out there to take that opportunity to create that in the first place, but you do need the rub of the green and things to fall into place. It's almost like the stars were aligned. Did you have a feeling that he would win on the night?
Oh,
or were you
absolutely.
nervous?
100%. I knew because just 90,000 people submitted in 2 days. 40 million people listened to it in 48 hours. Give me one more song that had that effect on any social effect. So it was just about guiding this correctly to the proper route to get to the proper destination. Because all Iranian knew about it. We just needed the world to hear about it. And part of the Voices project that we just finished, and it's in post-production with Taylor Hansen, is as Taylor said, this beautiful song needed to be heard by the world and not just the Persian community and Iranians. The whole world needed to listen to the wordage and the pain that everybody went through in Iran during this 44 years of oppression. And through one song, we can hear it all. And the whole world needs to hear it. So, and that is in the process now. So we want to make this global as we can possibly have it.
Absolutely. As we come to the home straight of this first segment, so I want to do a second segment with you, Katy, because there's a lot there in terms of your non-profit organization for women, life, freedom, and to talk about the Iran Revolution and your career. But as we complete the first part, were you able to communicate with Shervin or on the victory? Did you hear from him or through friends? Or because I know he was delighted according to all reports, but yeah, it'd be great to have your insight on that.
Well, he's at house arrest, so let's put it at that. So there are a lot of eyes and ears on him, and let's just hope that with this award, being the international figure that he is right now, let's pray for his safety, and let's hope that he stays safe and sound where he's at right now.
Did any of his family members, were they able to relay any messages, or it was absolutely not possible?
Well, his safety is more important than anything else. So, I think we all know how he feels, and we all know how he is, and we are just hoping that he stays safe. And with this award that he won so bravely for all of us, now he's an international figure, and that's what we should concentrate on.
Absolutely, because he's paid the ultimate price, really.
Absolutely.
Thank you ever so much for your time. Appreciate it. So the next segment, folks, we're going to go into the non-profit organization for women, life, freedom. So watch out for part 2 of this podcast and Katy's career and her thoughts about the Iran Revolution and all the great work that the diaspora is doing. And then we're going to hit Katy with some interesting questions around her life, her career, and her journey today. Thank you so much, Katy.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Bye-bye.